Hello and welcome to another episode of the Non-League Podcast. Just want to echo what we said last week and say thank you for all the support you're giving us. It means a lot to us. And just want to welcome East to the podcast. Hello East, you all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Before we kick off, just want to say we came to a mutual agreement with Torquay George and he's decided to leave. Yeah, that's it really. And moving on, we've got Tuesday's games to talk about. I'll open up quickly. Bromley 2, Kings Lynn 0. Nothing really I can say about it apart from we actually played decent football and they just caught us on counter-attack twice. That's fair enough. Anyone else got any games to talk about? I believe Torquay won, Wealdstone won.
Yeah. So the Torquay game was. I mean, we didn't really expect anything coming into it. Obviously, Torquay, but I think they had a few injuries, and so there was a bit. They didn't have their best lineup, so I was kind of a bit faithful, and we had a couple of debuts coming in for that George Langston in the back, I thought was brilliant. Isted back in goal. So we did look good defensively for the first time in a long time. But yeah, so just devastating to concede so lot in the last minute. And don't get me wrong, Torquay deserved to score, but it was just the way it was. It was like we booted it up and the wind took it back, and it was just so unlucky. I think the way we defended deserved 3 points, but then Torquay's they just dominated the whole game, and so they kind of deserved it. So maybe a draw was a fair result.
Yeah, also I'd like to point out we've got a new manager coming at Wealdstone, Dean Brennan leaving after all the drama recently, and we've had Stuart Maynard come in, and he's done a pretty good job, all things considered. All right, in the FA Trophy, we did lose 4-1 to Darlington. That was not special. However, in the league, he changed the shape up. He went to a back five and he put Jacob Mendy, who has been our star player, I think, from left back. He put him on the right wing, which was mental, and it worked. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Yeah.
Just want to say quickly, with Wealdstone's goal last week, with the positioning of the keeper being slightly off, do you think in a way you got lucky with that? Because if the keeper was in the middle of that would have been saved.
Well, look, we had one shot all game on target, something like that, and it was that shot. And realistically, 4 times out of 5 that doesn't go in. So, was there a bit of luck? Probably, but you need luck in this league to stay up and to go on and maybe even win it for Torquay. They didn't have the luck until the 90th minute, unfortunately. But the keeper should have done better. Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Kale?
I'll talk about Hartlepool's game against Solihull. We knew coming into the game that they were going to be a good team because even though they're a bit further down the table than they thought they would be, they have got games in hand, and I think defensively they are strong. They're not really good attacking, but defensively they're strong, which was very surprised when they basically gifted us the first goal. They were trying to pass around the back and they made a mistake, and in the form that Luke Armstrong's in, you can't give him time and space to have a shot. That's exactly what they did. They floating to the back of the net. And then they did try and get back in the game. They had a couple of decent chances, but we defended well. Rode our luck, I think, for about 10, 15 minutes. And then in the second half, we got a free kick, which was an unbelievable free kick by David Ferguson. It flew straight in the top corner. I was surprised when I was watching it live. That actually went in. But yeah, it's really what we needed. And also it was good to see that Torquay dropping points as well, which means we're slowly but surely catching them. So yeah, a good 3 points. We didn't have a game Saturday, and we've got Eastleigh away on Tuesday night, so hopefully another 3 points.
Fair enough, mate. Josh, I believe Hampton and Richmond lost 2-1 to Ebbsfleet. Want to run us through that one? Josh?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself.
That's okay, mate.
Yeah. So we lost. Yeah, like you said, we lost to Ebbsfleet. they deserve the win. There's no real complaints. First half, they were pretty dominant. They could have had a lot more if it wasn't for Julian and that. We got one back before half time. Second half, we were better, but didn't really have the cutting edge to look like we were going to equalise. So, absolutely, yeah, they fully deserve the win. Didn't play on Saturday because of Slough, who are not wanting to fulfil their fixtures. But Tuesday night, tomorrow, we're away at Concord. So, yep, we'll see how that one goes. Will?
Well, we were meant to play Sutton on Tuesday, and I was sort of expecting the game to be called off because it had been cold and it was snowing and everything. That they sort of expected it, and then it was called off. Yeah, fine, whatever. And then we didn't realise Bromley managed to get their game on, and then Sutton managed to get their game on Saturday after a few nights of cold weather. So it's sort of, you sort of have to question whether, because they're two big players out injured, Randall and Alafe, and we just beaten them in the trophy. You just sort of have to question whether it was they really did all they could to get the game on. And with the backlog they're going to have, I mean, it looks like they were sort of trying to move the fixture back to when they were back on form.
Fair enough, mate. I believe that's everyone's games talked about for last Tuesday. I think only Josh Hampton had a game this Saturday out of a slot.
No, I said we didn't play Saturday because Slough, they're not currently wanting to fill their fixtures. But we've got a game tomorrow. We're away at Concord. Yeah, we didn't play Saturday.
Fair enough. So moving swiftly on, then let's preview tomorrow night. So let's start with Josh. See what his thoughts are against Concord.
Well, I would have been confident, but obviously we lost to Ebbsfleet last week because our away form in particular has been the best in the league. But Concord are good. They're a mid-table-ish side. They're not doing anything amazing this season by any means. So it's a game that you think we could win, but depends because of the situation, the current situation, obviously, because we voted null and void for the season, which we'll get onto further later. But it's a game that I think we could must be looking at winning, particularly with our strong away form, like I said. So I'm going to be confident. I'll say we'll win 3-1.
Fair enough, mate. Will Wrexham are playing Woking tomorrow, and I believe you want to particularly beat Wrexham out of any team.
Well, I mean, as we all know, they've had this massive publicised takeover. They produced a special programme for the game tomorrow. It's a big one. It's their first under their new owners. And who better than an Alan Dawson masterclass to potentially spoil it? I mean, they've got their ambition and everything. But I'm just hoping we get a sort of 1-0 win away from home. Really take the sting out of their welcoming party, if you like.
Fair enough, mate. And especially if the old Netflix cameras are there recording their documentary, that would make it a bit sweeter, wouldn't it?
Exactly that. Also, we need a win. We haven't won since the 12th of December in the league, so it's about time. Even if the leagues below do get null and voided, we're sort of slipping down without really threatening at the moment.
That's fair enough. Is that everything from your side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kel, pulls again away to Eastleigh. Thoughts on that one?
I feel like it's going to be a tough game because of the fact that our away form isn't really as good as our home form, and also the fact that it's a cold Tuesday night game. It's travelling all the way down the country. It's just it feels like it could be an upset, but I'm also confident if Luke Armstrong and Oates up front press their defenders, they'll get through. And if they do take the chance, I believe that we will win the game. We also need to keep an eye on the counter because I feel like we're going to have most of the possession, but they're going to sit back and try and hit us on the counter. I feel like we're going to win 1-0, and I feel like Luke Armstrong's going to score. So I'm hoping for another 3 points to just because we can't slip up anymore. If we're actually serious about doing the title challenge. So that's
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. I mean, when we played Eastleigh last month, they were very good on a counter. Anyway, moving on, I just want to quickly talk about our game with Notts County. I'd like to say I have a shred of confidence, but I know I'd just be lying to myself. But we've got nothing to lose, really. Well, we have if North and South doesn't null and void, but if that null and voids at the end of the day, tomorrow we really have nothing to lose. Go all guns blazing at them. Hope we can cause a surprise. I highly doubt we will, but anything's possible in football. And just want to bring to you guys' attention, seeing on Flash Score that Sutton and Dover's being postponed due to a frozen pitch again. Is that what they're saying, or is it because Dover want to pull
No,
out?
it's not frozen pitch.
Yeah, that's Dover. Dover Press. I think they said earlier they're not willing to play tomorrow.
Fair enough. So Flash Score are just looking for an excuse and to have it down as postponed. Fair enough. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that's all the main Tuesday games over. I don't think Wildston have a game, do they?
No, no game for us. No game for us.
Fair enough. Just quickly, Will.
Just wanted to talk about Saturday's games. I think we missed out. Of course, there was only 3 of them, but Stockport 0, Aldershot 0, another derailing in the bid for Stockport's promotion. Sutton 2, Boreham Wood 0, which is a very, very good result for them in their title race. And then Yeovil beating Altrincham 2-0. And here's the question I want to put out. Are Altrincham going to slip down the league now? 2 back-to-back defeats.
Personally, sorry, you continue off.
Do you think this is the end of their good run and they're just going to finish mid-table?
Personally, I think coming into a new league, they have a little honeymoon period. They're a good side, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I can't see them finishing playoffs. But that's my own opinion. Alex?
Yeah, I think they had their good run and it overstretched. And they are a very good side, but I don't think they can keep up that consistency for that long. They've got the quality, but they've not got that something that takes them to the next level. And so I think they'll start to lose a bit of confidence now, losing these 2 games. They'll think, oh, our luck's run out. And I think they'll get a good top half finish, but I think maybe 9th or 10th.
Enough, mate. East?
Yeah, I actually think Alty, they're a different gravy. They got a sublime striker. I think it's Josh Hancock or something like that. He's quality. I reckon they're going to get playoffs personally because they've, you've seen it happen before. Teams come into this league. All right, it doesn't happen often, but you see it happening occasionally where they come into the league, they're full of confidence and they actually do well. And that's what I think it's going to happen pretty simply. Obviously, in Wealdstone, we did have that going on for a bit. But we not done enough training, etc. I don't know what's going on with Altrincham, but I do think they're much better than us for sure. I think they've got what it takes personally to get playoffs and maybe even go up.
Fair enough, mate. Anyone else got any points to make about Altrincham? No? Fair enough. I just want to quickly move on to this Saddies games before we move on to the rest of the topics. Going to open up with Will. Barnet away. What do you think will happen there, mate?
Has to be 3 points on paper, doesn't it? It really does. I mean, it doesn't matter. You look at teams in the bottom 3 and you think, especially when you're in a round, that you have to be beating those teams. I mean, the last time we played them, we beat them 4-1. We were down to 10 men for most of the game. So, the one thing that worries me about Barnet is Tim Flowers knows how to pull a result out the hat. So, I don't think it would be as comfortable as we'd like, especially considering if we don't beat Wrexham, it will have been a long, long time since a league win. But obviously, we don't know what's going to happen between now and Saturday in terms of the leagues below, in terms of the actual vote. I mean, tomorrow could actually be our last game. It's unlikely, but it could happen.
Yeah, definitely. That's fair enough. Kel, we have got. Let me just find it. Hartlepool at home to Yeovil. 3 points there, or do you think Yeovil will give you a good game?
I think any team in this league will give you a good game, but I think in the home form that we're in at the moment, I think I'm pretty confident that we will get the 3 points. It just depends if we got our shooting boots on, because that game could either be they could nick it at a 1-0 or even a 2-0, or we could just actually destroy them. It just depends how we play. And it depends if we actually put the ball in the back of the net, because I've seen a couple of times this season that we have the chances, but we won't put them away, which I think Luke Armstrong, again, he's been the main reason why we are up term in form, especially at home, because of the fact that he's been putting the chances away that we've been creating. So I think we will win 2-0. Not comfortable, but I think we will get the job done. And hopefully with a win on Tuesday against Eastleigh, tomorrow actually, sorry, we get another 2 wins, and then hopefully teams around us drop points as well, so we can continue trying to get up the league as much as possible.
That's fair, mate. And Sutton against Wealdstone, Alex East, thoughts on that one?
Right, I'll go. Under Dean Brennan, I would have said absolutely no chance we get a result here. But after what I saw on Saturday, it was during the week against Torquay. I genuinely think we can get a result here. Obviously we played all right against Torquay, but we grinded out a result, which I don't think we could have done under Brennan. So I back us to nick a point personally, maybe even win it, but unlikely. Yeah.
Fair enough,
Yeah, I
mate,
think
Alex.
Sutton obviously a strong team. I don't know. I think that they are a very good team, but I think they've been a bit lucky in their results this year. I think they're very much more rated for what they actually are, and I think that if we play our cards right and we're physical with them, we match their physicality, and again, yeah, so we defend well again, then I think we can nick a lucky goal and actually see this one out. But obviously Sutton are a good team, and I thought we were unlucky against them in the home game that we drew 3-3. I thought their goals were a bit lucky, and so I think we could get the win. But yeah, it'd be very interesting, because I think that Bromley game would have been a massive telling point for our squad and the manager, and we kind of needed that game to kind of see if Maynard was right and if this team is really coming together. So I think we can't really judge that off Sutton away, and so we'll have to wait for another week after that.
That's fair enough, mate. If I have to be honest with you, I can see Sutton winning the league, so I don't see much chance for Wealdstone. Lynn were meant to play Dover away, but we all know how that's going at the moment. Josh, in the National Southampton against Billericay. I don't know what Billericay's stance on the season is, so can you fill me in on that one?
Yeah, well, obviously they said that we're going to play a squad of non-contracted and academy players, and they got a really good result against St Albans. So obviously near the top of the league, only lost once all season. So that was a good result for them. Not many would have predicted that. In regards to the game against us on Saturday, I mean, it depends how the game tomorrow goes, I'd say, of the Concord game. Our home form isn't as good as our away form. It just hasn't been all season. So Billericay are in the same place as Concord. I'll be positive. Let's go. Go narrow 1-0 win.
Fair enough, mate. I completely forgot that Billericay were playing a team full of the youths and non-contracted. Anyway, moving on away from matches and the financial situation, I suppose we better address what really is a big elephant in the room, with Dover possibly resigning. Well, more than likely resigning from the league. Anyone want to open up? Will?
well, it's been coming since August, hasn't it? That they had to sell all their players. They weren't able to give contracts out to last year's players, apart from a certain few. They've said that they've been struggling all along. They got the grant, they've still been struggling, and they've been telling the National League that there might be a chance that this will happen, and now it's happening. It's not really a surprise, to be honest. But what I do think is that fair play to them, because they've actually, instead of trying to, play on with non-contractor players and stuff to stay in the league, they've actually decided for their morals that they don't want to be in this league anymore if this is the way it's going to go. And you can say what you like about them and everything, but they've taken their stance and we have to respect it.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I've seen a few tweets out saying that they deserve to be expelled and everything, but they were going bust in August, weren't they? But I don't know what saved them from that. Anyone else got anything to add on to Dover? It isn't a surprise on my side, but anyone else got anything to add?
I think Will hit the nail on the head there. I think fair play to him. Coming out and just saying, because many teams would have just said, would have had to fought in all that, but they've actually stood up to the league and they've said, well, we just won't play then. And I think, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Moving onwards, North and South votes have nearly all come back, and it's looking ever more likely that they're going to null and void now. Thoughts? I'll open up with Josh because he's a South fan.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a massive surprise, to be honest. Obviously, there was a whole load of teams in the North that were very strongly for null and void, which was always going to put it well ahead of the teams that were going to vote to carry on. So, not a massive surprise, like I said. Obviously, we voted null and void, which I said earlier, which many people are questioning it because of obviously when the playoffs, Mark White as well, obviously Dorking owner, questioning it, saying we should play our academy, which I don't necessarily agree with. But I think it is the right decision nonetheless, if you look at the financial aspect of it. But overall, I don't think it's a massive surprise that we've gone null and void, because there wasn't going to be any relegation anyway. And it's probably a good thing for the National League as well, National League Premier, because especially for the teams that are in the relegation zone, because then they won't have any fears of being relegated. Will?
I think on one side of it, the whole thing's been a complete shambles. You say you're going to make a league elite, and then it's the only elite league that doesn't have any funding. I mean, all the football leagues fine. The National League will just about continue. And then you go down to North and South, and you've got clubs like Chippenham and stuff, and they can't survive without fans or without grants. So it's as simple as that. It has to be done. I think if you're Mark White in Dorking's position, you're gutted because you've invested a lot of time and money into this season, and you've got players now who are vulnerable to. I mean, Woking are looking at a couple of Dorking's players apparently, but you've got players who are vulnerable now to. You've put a project in, you're on course, and now it's completely derailed by something out of your control. So for both sides, for the null and void and the play on, it's completely devastating. But you just have to look at the situation at the moment and think, well, at the moment, how are you going to continue with no money?
I believe last Friday, was it, Maidstone put out a statement saying that they were just going to play non-contracted and furlough their contracted players and just play the non-contract. Tunbridge as well, yeah. Do you think that is a good idea on their parts? Obviously, no money coming in. Clubs in North and South don't have all the money in the world compared to some of the clubs in the National League itself.
I think it's a huge opportunity for teams in Tunbridge's position where you can't get relegated, you're not going to get promoted, to get players in, if the league does continue, who are going to have the experience of a lifetime, 16, 17-year-olds. And we've seen this season already what some of them can do. I mean, Jaden Woking is starting pretty much every game now. So that there's the talent out there. and there's going to be clubs looking and thinking, well, hang on a minute, there's a lot of teams here who are going to have players who are going to have league experience. Football league clubs are going to have a look and be like, well, it's the best sort of experience you can get, because there's nothing like playing in an actual league. And it's sad, but at the same time, every match you're going to be the underdog and you're going to relish that.
Yeah, defo. It is just fun now, really. But for the players like Maidstone, like Billericay, who are putting Fairlow. I can't talk now. You know what I mean. Just want to say, if the North and South do void, do you think that the National League itself will allow clubs to drop out for monetary reasons and then come back last season like Merthyr did in the Southern League?
I think they have to, don't they? If Kings Lynn don't want to play and there's no reason, and there's a reason for that, and there's no implications against it, then yeah, you've got to say, well, see you next season. I mean, how you deal with the points and everything. But when we interviewed Cleve, and he said he knew this was going to happen, it was going to get to a situation where you might have to have clubs dropping out. But I don't see any reason why not.
Exactly, it's better than seeing clubs go and bust and everything, isn't it? So, but also I've been reading a few clubs want to take out loans with Sport England, don't they? Which I believe the National League are going to actually try and block, which is beyond me. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, no, you go. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You go.
Okay, I'll say. Right, I don't think Wealdstone. We're definitely in the bottom three as financial wise go in the league. We're very poor, and I don't think we can afford to take out loans, because that puts the long term health of the club massively at risk. So I kind of get why the National League are saying you can't take out loans unless it's been organised by them, because they're going to want to try and make it a bit safer for the long-term health of the club. But at the same time, I think that they should give a bit more autonomy to the clubs. I think they should be allowing clubs, if they feel they need to or they can, that they should be able to take out loans. But yeah, once again, it's the league being too pedantic, and I don't think they need to. They're putting their nose where they don't have to, and I'm not a fan of it. Yeah.
It's all been a massive farce this season, because they promised us, I believe, 2 days before the season started in October, that it would get finished. And we had all the national lottery money coming in. I think we had 1 month's worth of grants coming. And they're basically just saying fuck you to the whole season, aren't they, Will?
Well, what interests me is that the proposal in place by Gloucester's chairman and Mark White, the Dorking chairman, is for clubs to be able to drop out in North and South and have like a mini league. And I just want to hear Josh's opinion, because obviously Hampton would be one of the clubs that would be missing out, because they'd actually be in with a chance of promotion if they continue, but they've chosen not to for financial reasons. Do you think it would be right that a club can go up because another club can't afford it?
No, I don't. No, just yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Mark White does seem to have been waffling a little bit about this whole thing. I can't lie. If he seems to work because it's because the North have all voted null and void. Well, not all the North, but the majority of teams that have voted null and void have come from the North. Because of that, he seems to want the National South to carry on despite the North, and just at the North null and void, which it just doesn't make sense to me. I can't see this mini league thing going ahead either, or it just wouldn't make sense at all. But yeah, I can't see that ever happening.
Just want to quickly ask Kel, because I feel like he hasn't spoken forever yet. What what's happening with Hartlepool? Is their financial situation okay, or would they vote for null and void if needs be, or do you think they're okay to continue on?
I think we are financially okay. To be fair, I believe that we've got like one of the biggest budgets in the league, and I think we have money. Like, we voted to the decision to continue for one. We have the financial backing of the chairman to keep going, and also for the position that we have in the league. But I do understand why other clubs vote null and void. If it does go to null and void, I won't be the best pleased because of the fact where we're at in the league, but I will be understanding of why we actually are null and void. So I think that we will be okay during this. I don't really know much about our finances and stuff like that, but I do believe that we have got enough money to keep on going through the rest of the pandemic.
That's fair enough, mate. Just want to say, it feels like forever ago that they had those three options on the table, doesn't it? But removing them all was absolutely ridiculous, because I think option two, which was the league get a loan which they can pass on as grants to clubs, and they don't have to pay it back for, I think, 20 or 30 years, was easily the best option, because no one loses out. The league won't hardly go bust with TV money, sponsorship, and all that. It's been a bit ridiculous, hasn't it? I think they should bring back that option and make it fair for all.
That they can't, though. They've taken it off the table. They've said it wasn't financially viable, which does beg the question of why they put it on the table in the first place. It's a bit like saying the League Two saying to the National League, you can have 3 teams promoted this season, only to halfway through the season say, actually, you can only have 2. It's like you're a bit pissed off, aren't you? It's not. It just, the whole thing's been a farce.
But yeah, it really is annoying, because, like I said when we started this topic off, League promised us that we'd be able to finish it, but where are they now? They're doing crap statements, which they pretty much will release a further statement in due course. It just reminds me of the lockdown, the first lockdown, when we were voting for PPG and all that. Anyone else got anything to add on the financial side before I move on?
Well, it's just the year of the terrorism, really. In this league, you've got the league saying like this. You got the league give all these promises which they're not going to fulfil, and then at the start we had the government saying, "Oh yeah, we'll give you grants," and then say, "Actually, no, they're going to be loans." And now, obviously, going on from terrorism, we've got Kundai Benyu as well, big terrorist. But yeah, that's not financial stuff. I'm waffling. Yeah, no, that's all I wanted to say.
Right, moving on then. Oh, Jesus Christ, these. Moving on. Top 7 and bottom 3 predictions. I will pass you to one of the others, because I think I'm going to start crying laughing here. Who wants to go first?
I'll go for it. I mean, I think the bottom 3 is pretty much, apart from one place, set in stone. I mean, we might not even have to predict the bottom 3 if null and void happens, as we know. But I'd go for Barnet, Dover, and Kings Lynn. I just think you said Kings Lynn played well on Tuesday night, and they're not getting the results, and that just shows: do they have what's required in a normal season to stay in this league? And then you look at the playoffs, and it's still anyone's. I mean, if Woking or Wealdstone or someone even Kings Lynn put together a run of 10 winning games in a row, they'd be up there. But I think we know Torquay, Notts, Sutton, Stockport are going to be there. I think Boreham Wood are a good shout for playoffs. I don't think Maidenhead will make it. They always seem to fall away. Wrexham have the financial muscle now to completely take the league by storm next season. I think they might just sneak into 7th or 6th this season. And then that leaves you with. God, I'm waffling a bit now, aren't I?
Keep going, mate.
Yeah, when we said predict the top 7, I didn't think it was going to be this much of a challenge. As an outside shout, I'll go for Bromley. They always seem to be there, but not quite thereabouts. But this season, they've signed Courtney Duffus. He scored 2 goals against Kings Lynn. I reckon Bromley are my outside shout for playoffs.
Do you keep on? Is it contractually obligatory to remind me about Kings Lynn's crappy performances?
Well, you remind me of Woking, so it sort of goes both ways until we both start winning, which might not actually happen this season if we both start fielding our youth teams.
I mean, tomorrow night I'm still expecting a solid 5-0 loss, so you can take the piss out of me all you like there.
Nah, Notts County are a good side.
Yeah.
Notts County should be beating you 3 or 4-0. That's no offence to Kings Lynn or anything.
No, not at all. Hopefully we can
even
pull
Cleve
off a
probably
shock.
admits it.
Anything's possible in football, but hopefully we can pull off a shock. Is that you done, Will, on your predictions?
Yeah, finally that is me done.
Yeah. Feels like 7 years since he started. Either Kel or Josh, your shouts?
I'll go. Let's get it over and done with. Bottom 3, I agree with Will. I think as it is at the moment, Barnet, Dover, Kings Lynn. Barnet just can't seem to do anything at the moment, to be honest. Obviously, Dover, you've got the financial problems that you had at the start of the season. Many predicted them to be in there, and they're just not getting lots of money. As for Kings Lynn, like Will said, they struggle to grind out results and they struggle to win the games that are crucial, and then the games that you need to win if you want to stay up. I think. Wait, I was going to say Weymouth, but I think the recent signings they've made, they're pretty decent signings, and I think they could possibly try to push up away from the relegation zone. As for the top 7, well, where do we start? I'll start with the champions. I think maybe a bit controversial, but a lot of people I know on here and on the podcast, people may not like it, but I think Torquay will slip away or bottle it, as some may say. I've got an outside bet that Notts County will go up there and win the league. As for outside bets of the playoffs, I was thinking Solihull because they've got a lot of games in hand. They can easily make up the ground, but they're in a bit of dodgy form at the moment. They've not. I don't think they've won the last 3 games. Yes, they've been tough games they've had against Hartlepool and Notts County, but if you want to be challenging for playoffs, you've got to win those sort of games. Bromley, I too think are a decent shout with the recent signing they made of Courtney Duffus, like Will said. Maidenhead, I don't know, because they just don't seem that consistent enough to look like they'll challenge for playoffs. Eastleigh are an interesting side, though. I think Eastleigh could get into there. Obviously, just only outside the playoffs by a point. They've got a game in hand. They win that, they can go up into it. And yeah, Wrexham as well, I think, may sneak in there as well with the recent hype around the Hollywood owners as well. So yeah, that's me. My waffling done. I'll hand it over to Cal.
Yeah, for relegation, it's the same as everybody else, to be honest. Barnet, Kings Lynn, and Dover, them 3 going down. For the playoffs, I'll start with champions. I think Notts County will win the league. I think they've got good squad depth. I think it'll be Notts County first, Stockport, I think will go second. I think Torquay third. I'm going to go for Hartlepool fifth. Hartlepool fifth, sorry. Sutton sixth and Wrexham seventh. That's my playoffs. I think Solihull, Halifax, things like that. I think they can't really get a run of games together to be able to get into the playoffs. But I don't think Bromley will be close to getting in because I think they're a decent team.
Fair enough, mate. I think East is still actually sorting out his prediction, so I'll go.
No. We're good, mate. I've got my prediction.
All right, you go then. I'll go.
Right, I'll start off with a relegation. Obviously, I think Barnet and Dover, they are terrible at football. They have to be going down. But Kings Lynn, I saw a bit in you, you know. I think they're going to stay up at the expense of Dagenham and Redbridge. Darryl McMahon is not the one. He is. I really don't like him. When we played them, they were absolute dross. Right, they did beat us 1-0, so. But still, right, they had no creativity. Got a lucky goal. Their defence was pretty poor as well. It was one of the most boring games I've ever watched. That said, we're going into the promotion now. And number one, I think Torquay are going to bottle it to Hartlepool United, who are my top pick for winning the league. Number two, I've got Torquay. I think they will crumble, but they won't crumble that bad. Number two. Third, Sutton. They are a very good team. Keeper's a bit dodgy, I'll be honest. He let in another goal that he shouldn't have. Fourth, I've got Notts County. Once again, another big club. I think they're probably going to go up from the playoffs. Fifth, I've got Stockport. You know, they're a nice little club, but I don't think they're going to do much if they do get in the playoffs. Sixth, you could have been the supporter of any football team. I've chosen Bromley here. Once again, I think they could be a surprise package. Be interesting to see what they do. And seventh, I've gone with Altrincham because I think they're going to go all the way. They might even surprise in the playoffs. I don't know, but I think they will continue their form up to the end of the season. Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Always known I've liked you quite a lot, given that prediction. I'm sorry, I muted myself then. I'm going to go for relegation first. Dover and Barnet, both down, like he said, terrible at football, don't even deserve to be in the National League South. Third relegation spot, I think it's going to be a tussle between Lynn, Weymouth and Dagenham. And I can see Weymouth going down, actually. They've got a good run of form going at the moment, but I just can't see them staying up at all. Moving on to the top, I'm going to go on a different route. Sutton United to win it. In second, I will put Hartlepool. Third, I'll put Torquay. Fourth, I'll put Notts County. Fifth, I will put Stockport. Sixth, I will put Bromley. And seventh, I will put Boreham Wood. And those are my predictions for the top seven. And the reason I say Sutton will win it, obviously, 7 points behind Torquay, 3 games in hand. And they're a good team. I don't see why they won't win it. Moving on swiftly, believe we've got a few injury updates. We'll start off. Believe Woking have got a couple injury updates.
Well, as you know, I am contractually obliged to mention that man, Jamal Loza.
And I'm contractually obliged to mention every week he got the 3 points against you. Anyway, continue.
Yes, he did. Luckily he's back now. He was on the bench against Sutton. I think he's the sort of player, when he first came, we sort of didn't know where to fit him in. But now we've got Malachi Napa on the other wing. We've got a bit of pace about us. We don't have to be exposed on one flank. I think it could be a factor in our season. I mean, we're looking for solid mid-table as it is. But Slavy Spazov, our striker, has got injured and moved back to Oxford. His loan's ended. So apparently we're looking to the National League South towards Dorking specifically for strikers. Personally, I think it's a good move. If we can get one of their strikers on loan, Alfie Rutherford or Jason Pryor, who is the league's top scorer, it would be a really good move till the end of the season. And who knows, if they do well, we're going full time next season. Could you tempt them away? But as it is for us, it's just avoiding the relegation that might not even happen. So, yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Any injury concerns at Wealdstone East?
Yeah, it seems like every single player we've bought has been injured at some point this season. I think to start off, we had about 6 or 7 strikers who were fit and ready to start the season, and then it seems like 2 weeks in, they're all but one who was an absolute donkey mind. We're talking about Jerome Slew and Charlie Hughes, who are our only 2 fit strikers. And don't get me wrong, I love the blokes, but they should not be anywhere near this league. They're absolute terrible. I really don't like the way they play. They don't fit our play system at all. So that was not fun watching that for a long period of time. Looks like Lafayette's coming back soon. He is a canny player. I do believe when he's back, we'll bring back our form. Actually, I don't think we'll get playoffs, but I think we'll steer clear of relegation by some way. And obviously, we've had to make a lot of defensive reinforcements too, with that Langston geezer Alex was talking about earlier. And I think we've signed an Arsenal player on loan for a month. I think he's called Oloa or something. He looked quality. He was a right back. And yeah, it's not been nice to see all these players get injured, but you know, I'll take the quality from Premier League loans. You know what I mean? Especially now when we need it the most. So yeah, we've got a lot of injuries, but so far looks like we're coping all right. Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Kel, got any injury concerns at Hartlepool?
I think we've been very lucky with injuries this season. We've got Luke Williams, who he's been injured for 2-3 years now. He's always injured. He's always had different problems. He's starting to get back to full fitness, maybe, but it's just he may probably get another injury in training and then he'll be out for another 4 or 5 months. It's just I do feel really sorry for the lad. And also we have midfielder Nicky Featherstone, who got a knee injury against Solihull on Tuesday, I believe. Oh no, it was against Sutton. Sorry, it was against Sutton, and he's still injured. I think he'll be back in a week or 2. So yeah, we've been lucky with injuries this season. We haven't had any, apart from 2 people, we haven't really had any injuries. So, which is good luck from us, to be fair.
Fair enough, mate. Josh, not that I know anything about Tunbridge, but have you got any? Not Tunbridge, for goodness sake, Hampton. Any injury concerns there? Sorry, mate.
No worries. I think that obviously the 2-week break that North and South had, it's just recently finished. I think that definitely helped our squad a lot, getting back the fitness that they needed, because I think we've got pretty much a full strength squad now, and it's been very fortunate for us. But yeah, we've not really had too many injury concerns at the moment. Obviously, we did before the break with Charlie Wasmer was injured, but like I said, the break's helped him. He's back to full fitness now, so we're pretty fine in terms of our squad.
Fair enough, mate. Just want to touch on a couple bits of injury news from Kings Lynn. Kawamia came back last Tuesday. Only played 45 minutes, but reading the match preview for Notts tomorrow, he's apparently going to be fully match fit and hopefully will be able to last 90 minutes after he pulled his hamstring. And Alex Brown has come back. I didn't even know he was injured. Says much because I don't really miss our defence. So, anyway, there's also, is there any suspensions for you guys? Any red cards?
Not that I know of. Don't think so, no.
Now, Wealdstone are very well behaved, as you know. Yeah, no suspensions as we speak. That said, now I've said it, we're guaranteed 5 red cards against Bromley when we play them next week. But yeah, no, we'll see.
Fair enough, mate. Kel?
We have Gavin Holohan back tomorrow after he missed the Solihull game because of 5 yellow cards, and I think we also have Luke Molyneux back, who had a 3-game match ban in the red card against Weymouth. So yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Is that everything for this week, guys?
I think, yeah, pretty much, I think.
Yeah, there's not really much else to talk about. Let's be real here. What have we got? Absolutely nothing other than it's going to happen this week, really. All the big news about whether the season's going to continue, whether we get how it's going to continue, even if it's going to continue. And yeah, so we'll see. But I do believe this is going to be a big week in non-league for this season, anyway.
Just to mention as well, the news that step 3, 4, and below their decision on their season's been moved back to the after the government's announcements. So fingers crossed we do get some football in before Easter. It'd be great to watch some local football again, and obviously teams of those leagues have been deprived since pretty much November of watching their team play.
I don't know. I haven't listened to the previous podcast, but has anyone mentioned the Truro situation? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, what good old Lidl taking over
The
Truro
mighty
Road.
Lidl. Yes, that Truro. They're getting put in a spliff. In case you didn't know, Lidl have bought their ground, and it seems as though Truro are moving to Plymouth for a short term.
They are getting a new ground soon, though.
Yeah, but let's be real. Wealdstone were getting a new ground 20 years ago. Look how that worked. We're now in Ruislip Manor. Don't get me wrong, love the Vale, but it's not what we wanted 20 years ago. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. But hopefully Truro are all right. Fingers crossed. I know a Truro fan myself. He's called Alfie. He's a nice enough kid, but it would be funny to see him. Shout out to him. Yeah.
He does have a bit of a slight Lidl agenda, doesn't he? Just ever so slight. Just want to quickly mention before I fully wrap up, Michael Doyle, Notts County midfielder, came in and played goal for 75 minutes last week against Dagenham after Slocum got sent off.
Michael Doyle, what a hero.
Because of Casey, we haven't mentioned that. But we also haven't mentioned the Paul McCallum incident of him sort of ridiculing his own miss, if it were, on Twitter, which the Dagenham fans didn't really like.
Oh, I love the seeing the meltdown. It's beautiful. You don't get this in the Premier League.
Dagenham seems to be going through the mire of players on social media.
We had Mitch Brundle.
Yeah, now we have Paul McCallum. I mean, when is it going to end, Robbie?
Once again, talking about Mitch Brundle, shout out to Jude, a Dagenham fan I know. # taxi for you, mate. Absolute class night. Probably because he was saying that they were shit when he beat us in the 90th minute after being 2-0 down.
Well, I mean, Dagenham's just a completely... We could do a whole podcast about Dagenham, couldn't we?
Yeah, but I do like this non-PR bullshit, this non-PR stuff, because it's good to hear from the players as it is. It's just feels so much better than like the Premier League, where you have players having managers type up their speeches rather than saying it as it is. I like that. I don't know about any of you guys.
Oh yeah, it's refreshing, but in a way that they almost want to be like those Premier League players.
You know, we had that to the extreme at Wealdstone, and it got Dean Brennan fired. I think the geezer he was chatty, and he got too chatty in the post-match interviews. And at the end of the day, I think that was one of the contributing facts into why he got fired. So yeah, it is refreshing. Don't get me wrong, but if they take it too far, there is a line for professionalism in the sport, and if you don't obey the rules, then you will get fired. Same thing happened with what was it? Dulwich Hamlet, their social media man, on the weekend. He was getting a bit lippy and all.
Oh yeah, Josh. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, Josh. I'll let Josh.
So we're going to mention this, are we? I thought we were going to get through it.
No.
Oh, okay. I'll go. Yeah, I may have got
#bodied and #ratioed by Dulwich Hamlet.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. That's. I think that's what I'll say on that. Next.
Yeah, no, because I think that's probably it, really.
Just want to say, I think last season, was it Concord? Their social media manager left because they had a game where it got delayed and he put something like 90 plus 30 instead of the 60th minute.
Chorley did that, didn't they?
Or was it Chorley?
Chorley, no, Concord did it last season. Chorley did it on Saturday.
Chorley put 990, yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's an honest mistake, though, isn't it? I mean...
It's better than just deleting it and putting 90 plus 2, isn't it?
One of the best things about non-league that it's run by volunteers.
I'll never forget when we played Wealdstone in October and the goal notification came through when Wealdstone scored and it said, "Goal, Weymouth." Where on earth did that come from?
My favourite thing is Danny Parish, probably the most English person on planet Earth. He comes up on all the football apps as Ecuadorian. All right, that is something special there. Yeah, no, it is different gravy this league, but yeah, that is it. Okay, it's been the non-league podcast. Yeah, I hope you've had a wonderful time listening. If you've got through it, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Blancos East. Josh Mann on Twitter at oh no, the links are in the links are in the description.
Yeah.
Just follow me. You just follow everyone else, really. And yeah, this has been the non-league podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.